everyone, and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is a Blue Collar Wine Show where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. As we talked about in the white wine episode, a lot of times, Thanksgiving can be an expensive holiday when it comes to wine because you have a lot of people over, you want to have good wines. So we try to find wines that fall into a more reasonable category but are still good. So in the first episode, we did a Gewürztraminer, a Riesling. Sorry if my eye's dropping. I don't know what's going on. Well, I do know what's going on. I'm getting older. Yeah, they did an MRI and found out they found a brain between my ears, but they didn't find anything else, which is good. Anyway, every once in a while it happens, so don't freak out if you see that happening. It's just the way it is. Anyway, we did a Gewürztraminer, a Riesling. We did a white Burgundy. Burgundy. We did 4 wines. How come I can't think of the 4th one? Riesling, Goo, white Burgundy, and Sauvignon Blanc. That's right, we did a Sauvignon Blanc. The reason I couldn't remember is because Sauvignon Blanc's kind of new to me. But I see a lot of suggestions of Sauvignon Blancs in different articles on the web, so I included one of those, and I think it would work. It was a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc called Stratum. So now we're going to go to the reds. And we're going to start off with the most interesting wine that I think should be included in almost every Thanksgiving meal. That's my opinion. A lot of people would agree with me. This is Lambrusco. This is the Broletto Lambrusco 2019 from Reggiano, which is a DOC in Emilia-Romagna in Italy. And this rolls in at $13. Cool thing about Lambrusco is that this one's like 8.5% alcohol. So you have a lower alcohol. If you want to drink a little bit more, you can drink more of this because there's less alcohol. That's always kind of cool because sometimes, you drink a little bit on the holidays. Sometimes you're not thinking about it, and before you know it, you're like, whoa, I better quit. That's how it happens sometimes. But we are going to have sort of a loaded one at the end. So this is a nice wine. I always like Lambrusco. This is made with organic grapes, and we're going to give it a whirl. Now Lambrusco, there's 60 different varietals of Lambrusco. Crazy, huh? Most of the time they do it in the Charmat method. In the early days they did it in the traditional method. It has a little sparkle to it, of course. I have a personal affection for Lambrusco because that's what I cut my teeth on in the wine world. I used to love Cello Lambrusco, and I remember drinking, my folks would get it, and I'd drink it, and I just loved the stuff. And that was kind of my stepping stone into the wine world. So I really do have an affection for Lambrusco. Let's look at the color on this one. Really, really dark. Kind of ruby, dark, really dark color on this one. Let's see what we get on the nose. A little vanilla action, which is kind of weird, I think. And I get caramel, vanilla. Heavy on the blackberry side. Yeah, it's like caramel, vanilla, and blackberry. Really, really peculiar for a Lambrusco. $13. Let's see what we get on the palate. Yeah, I like it. You see, it's on the sweeter side. It's not sweet, but it has a sweet edge to it, which really does work great with the savory elements of Thanksgiving meal. So here you have a red wine that has a little bit of sweetness to it. It finishes off nice and dry. It's just delicious. Blackberries and cherries all day. I didn't get cherries on the nose, but they're definitely on the palate. So blackberry cherry. A little frizzante on this one. They most likely do it in the Charmat method, just like they do Prosecco. So they get the bubbles in a big vat. And the Charmat method is the way that they inject the bubbles, or get the bubbles into the wine itself. Very, very delicious wine. It's got good cherry blackberry up front, but then it finishes kind of dry, but not super dry. It has a little tiny bit of like sweet tartness on the back end. Really, really classic matchup with Thanksgiving. This Thanksgiving is savory, just like a Riesling or a Goo. You can do a Lambrusco if you want to go red, which a lot of people do. Why don't you surprise your friends at Thanksgiving and pull out a Lambrusco? It doesn't have to be Cella. It can be like Broletto, which is $13, a very fair price. There's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of Lambrusco out there now. It seems to be gaining in popularity, and I really like it. There's a little earthiness on the mid palate, which is really cool. Earthiness, is that a word? It's kind of earthy on the palate. I guess it is now. So it finishes off with that kind of fruit forward, kind of ripe cherry, blackberry. Then it morphs into kind of a sweet tart element on the backside. Very, very delicious wine. Perfect for Thanksgiving. I'm gonna go straight up B+ on that Lambrusco. Very nice. Now we're gonna go to the traditional, a very traditional matchup for Thanksgiving. That's Pinot Noir, and I picked the Mer Soleil Pinot Noir, part of the Wagner family. This is the 2000 and let's see if I can find the. Sorry, yeah, 2019 Mer Soleil. Monterey County, Santa Lucian Highlands, and Pinot Noir. So it's a combination of the two AVAs. This rolls in at $32. So, you know, not a super budget Pinot Noir. In fact, I think before Thanksgiving hits. Because, let's see, the white's going up Sunday. This is going up Monday. So back-to-back episodes. Maybe I'll try to squeeze in a budget Pinot Noir episode. I'll see. I'm not making any promises, but I'll try. I think that's a good idea because a lot of people, you know, $32 is not cheap, but it's not super expensive. I mean, there's a lot of Pinot out there that's more than this. This is super dark, and I've kind of always, throughout the years, have promoted California Pinot Noir because, you know, I think the Pinot should have a little guts to it. But that being said, a lot of people do Beaujolais Nouveau, which doesn't have any guts to it. I don't even get Beaujolais Nouveau in the store anymore. The popularity has just fallen off. Partly because they went high price on it. So, pretty dark. Almost, yeah, kind of a black. Red, black. There's a little bit of red coming through there. Let's see what we get on the nose. So I get a little root beer on the nose, for sure. Cherries and root beer. Just a hint of Asian spice trying to sneak out. Yeah, cherries, root beer, Asian spice. I like actually the Asian spice is actually really starting to creep out now. So let's see what we get on the palate. Wow. Good fruit. Not over the top though. That's what I like about this wine. It has good fruit, good cherry fruit. Smooth, then spicy on the backside. Spice is always good with Thanksgiving. Just plain and simple. It really is. The reason Pinot works with Thanksgiving because the tannins are lower. That's why you won't hardly ever see anybody recommend a Cab or a Merlot for Thanksgiving because of the tannic structure of those wines tends to conflict with the lighter but savory elements of Thanksgiving. I'm getting a tiny bit of chocolate. This baby is smooth. This is like smooth as can be. It just nicely integrated, seamless across the palate. Cherry fruit up front, a little bit of root beer comes through, and then the Asian spices come out big time on the back end. This thing is spicy on the back side. A little chocolate coming through on the back end as well. So, very smooth Pinot Noir, not over the top fruit, very balanced, spicy on the backside. I think this would be a perfect Pinot Noir for Thanksgiving. Mer Soleil 2019 Reserve Pinot Noir, Monterey County, Santa Lucia Highlands. This rolls in at $32, 2019. Yeah, solid Pinot Noir. I'm going to go B+, A- on that one. Spice never hurts when it comes to food. Trust me on that one. All right, this is a new one for me. I like to go Grenache. I think if you've watched past episodes of Thanksgiving wines, I've done Grenache. But I thought, let's do a Côte de Rhône because they have Syrah, they have Grenache. This one has also has Cinsault, Cunoise. So this has a bunch of the grapes, Mourvedre. This is the Famille Gras La Vieille Vines Côte d'Aron. This is a 2017. Now this one, when you say La Vieille Vines on it, it means old vines. So this is old vine Côte d'Aron, and this rolls in at $17. Now that's a high-end price. I'm sure you might be able to get it for less. Let's do a little rinse here. I just think adding the Mourvedre and the Syrah, because I was reading recently, and some people suggest Syrah for Thanksgiving, which I find quite interesting. You would kind of have to be careful with that because Syrah can get really big, and Syrah does have tannins. So, but throw in a little Grenache, throw in a little Mourvedre, throw in some Counoise, throw in some Cinsault, and now you have more balance in that wine. I think this one's fairly Martine Selections. This is again very, very dark, very, very dark on this wine. So we get on those. I get apple right off the bat. Apple. That's weird. Apples and cherries, like somebody blended apples and cherries together. A little bark, slight bark, like dried beauty bark type thing. There's an interesting aroma coming through. I can't quite nail it. Actually, you know what it is? It's purple and red flowers combined. With the cherries, with the apple. Maybe a hint of licorice as well. Let's see what we get on the palate. No apple on the palate, thank goodness. Smooth again. Very smooth. Meaty. Very meaty on the palate. Meaty tannins. I like it. The bark kind of earth notes come through on the mid palate into the finish. Up front you have cherries. A little currant thrown in there as well. There's tannins there, but they're not. Nice little meat marinade thing coming on the backside. There's tannins, but they're not over the top tannins. I don't think they would destroy the meal at all. I think they would complement nicely. There's a nice spice on the backside that, you know, obviously Grenache is known for its spice, and this has it. I think it was Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre, Cinsault, and Counoise in that order. So that means there's more Grenache, which is what I was looking for. I think the earthy elements of this would work nice with the savory elements of the turkey dinner. So I think Côte d'Aron is a good play. If you did Côte d'Aron, I would make sure that it is Grenache dominant. That's important because I think Grenache is such a great match with Thanksgiving. I really like Grenache. I was going to throw one in here, but I thought, let's do a Côte d'Aron just to see how it does. I think this would work. The tannic structure is not too heavy. There are some tannins, but that's okay. I like the spice on the back end. I like the earthiness of this one. There it goes again, earthiness. I'm pretty sure that's a word. I like the bark. There's just a touch of tobacco as well, which makes this a really nice Côte d'Aron Famille Gras Old Vine Côte d'Aron 2017. I'm going to go B+ on that. I think it's a solid Côte d'Aron. We have a nice lineup so far. Now, on to the one that is recommended a lot. And I've kind of backed off of it a little bit, but I might throw some in. The Thanksgiving meal. We're doing a late one with my daughter and her family and my son in January. May bring us Zinfandel over. I just discovered this one. This is the Oblivion Zinfandel, Central Coast, California. It rolls in at $13, sorry, $15, which is a great price for a Zin. 2017. I'm a huge Zin fan. You guys all know that. I watch. I love Zinfandel. I kind of backed off a little bit on Zinfandel at Thanksgiving because it just didn't seem like the people around me were enjoying it. And when I have company over, or when I'm having people over and I'm bringing the wine, I want them to enjoy that wine. So again, super dark. This one's a little, this is almost black dark. I can barely see some ruby colors underneath. Let's see what we get on the nose. Nice currant notes. Currant leaning look toward, we don't say prune anymore, we say, so dried currants. Not super expressive on the nose. I just get the dried currants with a little dried currants thrown in. There's a little earthiness to this as well, a little earth, a little dirt action underneath. Licorice. There it is, I finally got it. Let's see what we get on the palate. Nice and juicy, big fruit. That's why Zinfandel is recommended. If you think about it, on the white side you do Goo and Riesling, which tend to be on the sweeter side. Why not do a red that shows a little more fruit, a little more ripe fruit? This is it. This has it. Ripe currants all day. But what I like about this one is it morphs into kind of a spicy white pepper, black pepper thing, which is what I love about Zinfandel. That's one of the things that I crave in a Zin. I like black raspberry, currant, white pepper, black pepper. Makes Zinfandel so good. Initial attack is currants. It gets a little bit empty on the mid palate, but not terrible. And then it goes into that kind of spicy white pepper and black pepper. Yeah, I can see this working nicely. It's not over the top. It's not big, unctuous fruit. You got to be careful not to get too big. 14.5 alcohol, which is, yeah. That's one of the things about Zinfandel you got to be careful of. If you start diving into Zin at Thanksgiving, there's a lot of alcohol flowing around. You may find yourself falling asleep on the couch before the night's over with Zinfandel. Just saying. Of course, that's me. Sometimes alcohol makes me sleep. It has some drying tannins on the finish, but not too bad. That's kind of an interesting green tobacco thing on the back of the mid palate, which I find quite intriguing. So there you go. These are kind of Zinfandel's highly recommended for Thanksgiving. You read any article, usually Zinfandel's thrown in there, Pinot Noir is thrown in there. I just threw the Côte d'Ivoire, and I think that's a good play. And I think Lambrusco should be on everybody's table. It's just such a cool wine and very delicious and perfect with Thanksgiving. There you have it. Reds for Thanksgiving. I'm hoping, I hope I can, not promising, but I hope I can get a budget Pinot Noir for Thanksgiving. Another good play for Thanksgiving, of course, is Gamay, which is Beaujolais Village. That works very good. Instead of going with the George de Boeuf Beaujolais Nouveau or whatever other Beaujolais Nouveaux are out there, go with a Gamay. That's what Beaujolais Nouveau is. Go with the Gamay Beaujolais Village. Tend to get a little better quality. It's a lighter style, but still, it's very much like a Pinot Noir. Just slightly different, but very close. Thanks for taking a little time out of your day. I hope you're enjoying these episodes on suggestions for Thanksgiving. I know a lot of you guys come into the store and you ask me what I recommend for Thanksgiving. So it's nice if you don't find me, you can find these wines. And if you're not living in Friday Harbor, which I know a lot of you are not, you can search these wines out wherever you live. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.